Thanks for the pin, Robin.
The record reflect.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the board meeting. Tom, can we have a roll call?
Ms. Bowes,
Here.
Mr. Clark, Ms. Evans,
Here.
Ms. Groger,
Here.
Ms. Kelly, Dr. King,
Here.
Ms. Martinez,
Here.
Ms. Pasculi, and I see Ms. Kelly. So we've got Ms. Kelly. So you have a quorum. Mr. Van Hise is absent.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go into executive session. The Open Public Meeting Act authorizes the Board of Education to meet in exec session under certain circumstances. This evening, we will be discussing specifically matters which, if publicly disclosed, would constitute an unwarranted invasion of individual privacy, and specifically, HIB will be discussed. Formal action will not be taken this evening. Executive session is expected to last approximately 30 minutes. Can I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved. Second?
With a motion and a second by Mrs.
All in
Groger?
favor? You can call all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
You are. You're
Go into exec session, and we will be back at 7 o'clock. Everybody, and welcome to our board meeting. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. As required under law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided via email and/or fax to the Times, the Lawrence Ledger, the Trentonian, the Public Library, and has been filed with the municipal clerk. This notice was provided prior to the 48 hours required by the Open Public Meetings Act. The board reserves the right to limit public discussion of personnel items and other matters as defined in the law. Do our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. First, we'll have our student representative and peer leader report.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Perrell, and I'll be giving you guys a little bit of a recap of senior nights that have happened so far and the ones coming up. So the ones that have passed are girls field hockey and girls tennis, and then the one from this past football game, we got to celebrate over 30 seniors from across three different departments: football, cheerleading, and marching band. The ones coming up are tomorrow we're celebrating girls soccer seniors, and next week on the 16th we're celebrating boys soccer seniors. We hope you guys can join us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Nevius. I'm a senior peer leader. Powerpuff is coming up next month on November 12th. The juniors and seniors have started to sign up and have started to buy their Powerpuff t-shirts. And the class of 2026 is starting to prepare for their second victory. Hi, my name is Adriana Marin, and I'm a senior. So Laps for a Cause was just an event that happened October 4th. It was enacted to stand in solidarity and fundraise for breast cancer awareness and research. Laps for a Cause was an event involving running laps for breast cancer. The event was actually sponsored by numerous companies, including Wawa, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and Capitol Health. The event was super successful, raising over $3,000. Woohoo!
Hi, my name's Sabine Delarda, and I'm a senior peer leader. Homecoming is this Saturday, October 11th. The football game will begin at 12 p.m., and the dance at the German American Club will be given at 7 p.m. This week leading up to Saturday, the school has been engaging in spirit days such as Matching Monday, Tropical Tuesday, and Warrior Wednesday. Thursday will be camo, and Friday is neon. Friday, there will also be a pep rally where each of the fall sports are recognized, and we will participate in activities such as student versus staff games.
Hi, my name is Jada Leonardo, and I'm in 12th grade, and I'm also a part of gospel choir, so I'll be talking about our most recent performance. So the LHS Gospel Choir took the stage at the Kirby Arts Center for the Louisville Road Symposium, singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, and We Sing Praises to honor the valuable history of the street. This is the first of many community events and competitions the award-winning choir is planning to partake in, and we hope you show up and show out to our next one.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me one second. I was at that event, and you guys were really spot on. You were I was so proud of you.
Well done.
You look fabulous. You look fabulous, and you really sounded great.
Great. Thank you so much to our student representative peer leaders. You're free to go. We love having you here, but understand you have other things to do.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Recognition and acknowledgements? None. Adoption of the minutes. Can I have a motion to adopt the executive session and regular session minutes from the 9/10/2025 meeting?
So moved. Second.
Tom with a motion and a second.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Groger,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Dr. King,
Abstain.
Ms. Martinez,
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi? Yes. Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Report to the board. Superintendent's report.
Hi. So October is National Principals Month. I want to just take a minute to recognize our outstanding team of principals and vice principals across our buildings. We're so fortunate and they're so dedicated and compassionate. Every single day, they come in, they lead, and they work hard for our children and families. So thank you. This week, we're also celebrating the Week of Respect as part of National Bullying Prevention Month. Throughout our schools, you'll see staff and students participating in themed spirit days and activities. Some are underground spirit days. It's super fun. The students really get involved, but more importantly, they're having conversation. They're learning about kindness, inclusion, and respect, which is really important. That's the hallmark of what we're trying to do this week. It's always wonderful to see our community come together with our shared values around this week. And finally, a reminder that this coming Monday, October 13th, is a professional development day for staff. Your students will be home for the day. Our schools are closed to students. Our educators will be engaged in a day of learning and collaboration and growth focused towards student success. I also want to note that on October 29th, we'll be hosting an early childhood advisory council at 5 p.m. at the high school. That is led by our early childhood team. They're looking for community providers, community members, those interested in early childhood education to really help inform what their plan will be and their goals in the coming years. So hope that our community will come out for that. We have 2 presentations this evening. The first will be our HIB self-assessment by Dr. Fisher, our Director of School Counseling and Supports, and then followed by our Office of Instruction and Office of Student Services teams, with Vanessa Vakarsiak and Neil Desai. So I think, Dr. Fisher, you're up first for HIB. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. So every year, we are required to present our self-assessment scores and to go over our HIB policies and the law that we follow here in our district. So first, the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. As you can see, it's commonly referred to as the HIB law. The purpose of it is to strengthen our standards at which we prevent, report, and investigate all incidents of bullying. All of the definitions of bullying are in that description, so any gesture, any written, verbal, or physical act, or any electronic communication, whether it be a single incident or series of incidents, that is reasonably perceived as being motivated either by an actual or perceived characteristic, such as race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, or a mental, physical, or sensory disability, or by any other distinguishing characteristic that takes place on school property, at any school-sponsored function, on a bus, or off school grounds if it substantially disrupts or interferes with the orderly operation of the school and the rights of other students. So we follow this, we have a process here in our district that I will review, but part of this law is to complete a self-assessment. So each building will look at their compliance with the HIB law and the programming within the building for prevention. They will be getting a score, a rubric score from 0 to 3 on each category. The minimum possible score is a 52, and the total possible score on the self-assessment is a 78. So each school must evaluate their performance in 8 core areas, such as the HIB programming, approaches, and other initiatives, our training on the board and approved HIB policy, other staff instruction and training programs. We are required to annually review our HIB procedures, curriculum and instruction on HIB and related information and skills, HIB personnel, the school-level HIB incident reporting procedures, our HIB investigation procedures, and HIB reporting. So this is our self-assessment scores. Again, the maximum score is a 78, and as you can see, our schools have been doing consistently well on the self-assessment. It's also a nice checklist for us as a district to constantly reassess our practices and make sure that we're doing what we need to do to meet the needs of our students and to ensure that we're addressing concerns immediately. So we do have a strong policy, and we use the Hibster reporting software, which does allow us to do these reports in a timely manner and allows all of the necessary personnel to be able to read the reports and see, what is taking place. We do online reporting now, so our HIB form, known as Form 338, is available on all of our school websites as well as the district home site, and there is a reporting feature for staff and for families. That you just go online, and if someone fills out this form, an email is directly sent to the building HIB coordinator, myself, and the principal to notify us that someone made a report. Each building has a HIB coordinator, so it's our anti-bullying specialist. It is a counselor in each building that they receive a ton of training each year to ensure that they're up on any policy changes and just to be able to calibrate with their colleagues in other districts to ensure that we're doing the best we can for our students. These are just some of the additional trainings that our staff have gone to. So we've gone above and beyond and sent people for the specialist certification program. We do have school safety specialists, Dr. Klim, myself, and each building have one person. This is a week-long training involving all different types of school safety, and HIB is included in that training. HIB law update training, intervention for HIB aggressors and targets. There was a training on school climate team, restorative practice, and circle keepers has been new initiatives in our building that tie in with our HIB prevention. Creating a culture for empathy, suicide prevention, mental health first aid training, the nurtured heart approach, and healing-centered engagement are just some of the trainings that help us create those positive school climates. So we have a lot of anti-bullying initiatives. This is just a very small list of some of the activities that took place last year. This is actually the week of respect in our schools. So each building has, and you can see an example from LIS last week. I made this presentation a few weeks ago. I could have included all of our new, every school has theme days. And, we walked into Eldridge today and everyone was in their pajamas. So, everyone has some fun themes and they do some education programs. So really every student in our district throughout the month of October will have targeted lessons around HIB to help students understand what qualifies in this HIB law and how to, be a good friend, to be an upstander, and to treat each other with kindness. So you can just see there's a ton of programs. We take this very seriously in our district, and it's our goal to create those strong classroom communities, and these are just some of the ways we do that. So thank you. We're proud of what we've done in our district, and we are continuing to see what we can be doing better, attend more trainings, and help prevent any bullying in our schools. So thank you. Any questions? All right.
Great, thank you so much, Dr. Fisher.
All right, Mr. Desai, your team. Ooh, and company.
Good evening. Good evening. So this is our annual assessment presentation, and it's done in coordination with the Office of Instructional Services and the Office of Student Services. And tonight with me are our amazing supervisors and directors. We have Mrs. Maureen Hayes, Dr. Damian Barriexza, Mrs. Sarah Foster, Dr. Mary Pankos, Mrs. Nicole Einhorn, Mrs. Jean Musi, and Dr. Allison Fisher. It's a great team here. So today's presentation directly connects to our student achievement and equity, diversity, and inclusion goals. However, we know that students achieve greater success when they are ready to learn, feel appreciated, and feel that they belong, which speaks to our wellness goals. As always, we always start with our graduation rate. Last year, we had higher number of students than before. Still equivalent graduation rate to about 95%, which is similar to what we've had in the past. Some of the students just may require an additional year or two to graduate, but most of our students do graduate, and it's, again, hovers around 95%. Today's presentation, we will review the 24-25 scores for NJSLA state assessments in English, math, and science, and DLM, which is our dynamic learning maps, an alternative assessment for NJSLA. We will also review achievement by subgroups and race, as well as achievement as measured by our district assessments. So you'll see all of that here. And to start it off, we're going to start with some iReady scores with Maureen. Thank you.
Good evening. So iReady is our local assessment in reading and math in grades 1 through 8. So it's a computer adaptive tool to assess and monitor student growth in key areas of reading, such as phonological awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension, and in math for numbers and operations, algebra and algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and geometry. Each student begins the year with a diagnostic assessment, which they just took a few weeks ago, and progress is carefully monitored throughout the year to ensure every learner is on track for their growth targets. Data provides us with information on student proficiency in math and reading by strand for individual students, but we can also look at data by classrooms, buildings, and the district as a whole. Students are also placed into a personalized pathway for learning based on their diagnostic results. They spend time each week working through their online lessons and practice targeted towards areas in need that have been identified. Okay, so this data is just a small snapshot from iReady that shows student growth in phonics, in the phonics domain specifically, from fall to spring last year in first grade. We are looking closely at this growth as we move into year 3 of IMSC Orton-Gillingham instruction in grades K to 2. We are looking for continued growth in reading domains as our students continue to receive explicit instruction in early literacy skills. This data is also from iReady and shows student overall growth in reading in grades 1 through 6 last year from fall to spring. When monitoring student growth in reading using iReady, both the color-coded proficiency levels and Lexile measures provide a clear, actionable picture of progress towards higher reading proficiency. At each assessment window, the definition of green shifts to match expectations at that point in the year. Moving students from red or yellow into green by year's end is a major district goal, as this signifies strong progress and readiness for new academic challenges.
Maureen, I'm sorry. I have a question that maybe is for both of you, but just, this is for last year from fall to spring.
Correct.
But and I know a lot of our students already took iReady diagnostic for this year. Are the teachers given their spring data? Like incoming students, they have, so now
Yes, they have
they
access
have their diagnostic and their spring
Yes.
in front of them.
Yes,
Okay.
thanks. Good question.
Hey, good evening, everybody. And I just came up to say that this is the iReady data for the math department. Again, moving greater, larger bars in green from the fall to spring is the goal. Again, very much similar goals as what Maureen said for literacy. This is the math data for iReady.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Einhorn, and I am going to talk a little bit about the state testing. So there's two parts to state testing. We have the NJSLA, which will be covered a little bit after I speak. I'm going to be talking to you about the DLM, which stands for the Dynamic Learning Map. Try to say that 3 times. So the DLM is specifically designed for students with the most significant intellectual disabilities who cannot participate in general state assessments, even with accommodations. In order, I gotta click my button, sorry. Oh, I skipped ahead. All right, so the NJSLA is an adaptive test this year. But we're talking about this, we're gonna give you the data from last year, but for this year, it will be done in May of 2026. Grades 3 through 8 are tested in math, and then 9 through 10th grade, it depends on what math course you're taking. So Algebra 1, Algebra 2, or Geometry. And then the ELA is tested 3rd through 9th grade, and Science is 5th, 8th, and 11th. And then the DLM, also a summative evaluation or assessment, will be administered over time, and the window is April through May of 2026. And the tested grades are K through 12. Okay, so now we're going back to me. All right, so the DLM, so for a student, to determine if we need to have a student take the DLM, we have to fill out this sheet, which is the criteria for the state, and we have to go through and answer questions in A or B, yes or no, and it sort of leads us to determine if the student needs the alternative assessment. This year, this is the form that we used for the testing for last year. There will be a new form next year for this current school year that will adjust some of the criteria. We do have a 1% cap on the number of students who can take the DLM. So just some essential elements of the DLM. Specific statements of knowledge and skills linked to grade level expectations for grades K to 12, and they stand on their own as important learning targets. The teachers then use the targets to guide instruction for students who are identified as candidates to take the DLM. And then the ELA, arts and math, grades 3 to 8 and 11, and science grades 5, 8, and 11. So the DLM rates the targets as either emerging, approaching target, at target, or advanced. That's how it's scored. So this year, we had 23 students in district take the DLM. 52% were at target or advanced in ELA, and 48 for math. And then science, remember, science is only 5, 8, and 11, so there's only 8 students in district that took the DLM in science. That was at 38% were at or advanced. Out of district, we had 19 students, 5% for ELA, 16% for math, and 20%, which again was only 5 students. Our total number was 42. That is 6 students more than we had previously take the DLM the year before. And you'll see that our in-district number actually jumped up a bit. We are servicing more students in district who have higher needs. And so these numbers do reflect that. Okay, and that's it for me. Thank you, guys.
Now we're moving on to the state assessment, the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment. So it categorizes student performance into 5 distinct levels that indicate how well students meet standards in English language arts and mathematics. And these can help us understand where students are in their academic progress and what support might be needed. Students scoring at levels 3 and above are generally considered on track for grade level success. Levels 1 and 2 indicate students who may need targeted interventions to support their growth. So looking at last year's results for reading proficiency across grades, reading and writing proficiency across grades 3 through 6, our district's passing averages compare closely with the state averages at most grade levels. 6th grade students grew from 46% in 5th grade up to 55% in 6th grade. This is consistent with the growth we have been seeing each year from 5th to 6th grade. While writing continues to be at or below state average at most grade levels, reading continues to be at or above state averages in grades 3 to 6. This year, 4th grade saw the best writing scores on the NJSLA, trending just above state averages. We have dissected this data thoroughly and set goals for improvement. The district has implemented several things to improve this growth in literacy. Morphology instruction in grades 3 through 6 focuses on teaching students to understand and use word parts such as prefixes, suffixes, and roots to improve vocabulary, decoding, and comprehension. This foundational skill supports both reading and writing development. We've also implemented the Hockman method, otherwise known as the writing revolution, in grades K through 6, which emphasizes explicit step-by-step writing instruction starting at the sentence level and building towards structured paragraphs and essays. Professional development focuses on equipping teachers with these effective strategies, while administrative walkthroughs monitor classroom implementation through targeted look-fors and of these sentence building and content integration. Regular data-driven meetings use assessment results and writing samples to guide instructional adjustments and interventions. So together, these efforts ensure a coherent approach to improving student achievement in language skills across grades 3 through 6.
Thank you, Maureen. I'm Mary Pancoast. I'm here to talk about the middle school and the high school scores. So at the middle school last year, we had a significant increase in our population for both grade 7 and grade 8. And despite that increase, our numbers improved from grade 6 to grade 7 to 61%. So our students on average made a gain of about 20% as far as passing at 4 or 5. That far exceeds the state. Grade 8 was able to maintain their gains for the first time this year. Usually we're a little bit closer to the state average. But this year we did significantly better at the state with 66% of our students meeting or exceeding the state expectations. Grade 9 slipped a little bit from their grade 8 gains, but they still stayed above the state average with 51% of the students meeting or exceeding the state average.
Okay, for the elementary math grades, grade 4 made some modest improvements over last year's grade 4 cohort, still a little bit below the state average, but a little bit higher than what we did last year. We saw a major improvement this past year in grade 6, at 44.5% at level 4 or 5. That cohort improved about 17% over the grade 6 cohort from last year in terms of passing scores. We're very happy about that. Which also means that the last year's grade 7 cohort, that 43.4%, also scoring above the state average, raised their passing rate by nearly the same percentage, which is also very good news. Looking at our 5th grade scores coming in below the state average percentage of students at 4 or 5, I've reviewed some performance trend data by math standard, going back a few years to identify exactly where we need to shift our focus instructionally this year in terms of more targeted instruction, or perhaps to come back a little more frequently throughout the school year to hit some of those key areas a little more frequently and provide some more targeted support in some of those key areas.
Okay, so I pick up at 7th grade with the math scores, and in 6th and 7th grade, although we start making 2 pathways of courses, both on grade level and accelerated pathways, these are whole grade level scores. So all of 6th grade is encapsulated in that score, all of 7th grade here. When we move into 8th grade, our scores are separated out by math course, which is similar to how students are taking the test up at the high school. So you'll see our data shift as our accelerated students at LMS are pulled into their own assessment scores there. You'll also see indicators of opportunities that we've allowed students who really maybe weren't quite ready to accelerate, but we wanted to expose them to higher level content a little early and give them the chance for that access. In our Algebra 1 score reporting with the 89.5%, which dipped just a little bit below where it was at last year. And our Math 8 scores continue to underscore the importance of building that strong foundation. So you heard from Damien how we're looping in some of those foundational concepts in the key primary years. This is going to continue to be something that we're focusing on in all of our math programs, because as you know, our math concepts are sequential. So if you don't master it when you're first exposed to it, it's going to continue to show up in gaps in more advanced concepts. With our middle school and high school algebra scores there, we also combine them so you can see our algebra scores across 8th and 9th grade, where we are above the state at 41.6%. Our geometry scores also increased significantly. I believe last year they were about 30, and now they're up at 61.6. Our Algebra 2 test, we didn't have enough students to report that data, so I've suppressed that data. Moving into science, you'll see that our proficiency levels move from 5 levels to 4. So we're really looking at the level 3 and level 4 students in these scores. Our students are tested at 5th, 8th, and 11th grade. Last year was the first year that we took our science concepts and integrated them. So instead of at 7th and 8th grade alternating if they were taking life and physical science, which, as you can imagine, whatever science they took in the year they were tested, they usually tested a little bit better in our score reports. Now we're integrating, so we're hoping that students are taking those cross-cutting concepts across life, physical, and earth science, and really applying them into critical thinking ways on their assessment. That also appears in 11th grade, where although students are taking biology, chemistry, and physical or earth science in their junior year, they're being tested on 3 years of content in that 11th grade test. And we're continuing to perform very well, considering that it's 3 years worth of content on that assessment.
And I'm going to finish off with some subgroup and race data. So this is our English language arts, and these are all of our students, district-wide. And the race is what the family checks off when they register their child, so that comes from the families. So if you notice, there's a slight dip with our Asian students and our multiple race students, but there's an increase with our Black, Hispanic, and white students with respect to English language arts. And then with our subgroups on the right-hand side, you'll notice a dip with our free and reduced lunch, but pretty much either consistent or increasing with our other students as well. And now this is our math data. Again, our subgroups are on our left-hand side. And then, our races are on our left-hand side, and our subgroups are on our right-hand side. a dip with our Asian students, but there is an increase with our Black and Hispanic and multiple race. It's pretty much the same, and our white students have increased just a bit as well. And then our subgroups on our right-hand side increased with our free reduced lunch. Section 504 students are consistently the same, and an increase with our other subgroups there. And finally, our science is pretty much consistent from one year to the next across our race and across our subgroups. So as we move forward, we have some of our district and school-wide goals here as well. So our district goal and what we're going to do to help improve our performance of our students and to make sure that our students who are doing well consistently continue to do well is, first of all, focus on data analysis pre-K-12, right? Across the district, we're focusing on analyzing and disaggregating data to inform our initiatives, programs, and professional development. It also impacts lesson planning and instruction, and so we're going to go over that with our teachers this year. And then based on that, our teachers are expected to differentiate instructions pre-K-12 to meet the needs of our students. And then underneath that, you'll see some of our school goals that we have. The high school is continuing to work on building thinking classrooms, which focuses on a shift in instructional design, which leads to a more active student engagement. Artificial intelligence is one of our goals at the high school as well. And at the middle school, in addition to data and differentiation, you're also working on Rigor Unveiled. Rigor stands for relationship, instruction, goals, organization, and relevance. Working on that with our teachers. As Maureen mentioned, writing across all grades K and 6 with the Hockman method or the writing revolution. Dr. Barry Exel also mentioned that we're also looking at our curriculum with respect to mathematics and coming back to some of the things that we believe our students need more support in. Continue building on classroom communities, continue to have family workshops as well. And finally, Dr. Fisher is going to talk about some of our assessments that are coming up this year. Word.
I'm back. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot happening in our assessment world. So on the October 23rd, we will be administering the PSAT to all of our 10th and 11th grade students here at the high school. And then a week later, we will be doing the field test for the adaptive NJ-SLA and the adaptive NJ-GPA exam. So this is a field test that was previously mentioned. This is a testing the test assessment. We will be administering it essentially in grades 4 to 11. So in grades 4 to 10, they're going to take the SLA based on last year's class. So a 9th grader will be taking the 8th grade ELA and whatever their 8th grade math class was exam. So again, because it's supposed to show that they've already met proficiency, and this is really just their ability to test the test. It gives our students some opportunity to see how the layout is of the new program as well, and it allows our teachers to see it as well before we give it again in the spring. We have our access tests for our English language learners that starts in February through March. That is for all students that are ELL in grades K to 12. And then in the spring, we will be administering the NJ-GPA adaptive exam in March, which is the graduation requirement assessment for our 11th grade students. In May, we will be administering the adaptive NJ-SLA test to students in grades 3 to 9 for English and math. Science in grades 5, 8, and 11. It should be noted that our science is actually going to be using our previous testing software, the Pearson, while the SLA and the GPA will be administered in our new program, Cambium. And then finally, our advanced placement exams take place the first 2 weeks in May. The registration period for that has just opened, so our students are registering for those exams as we speak, and they will take those exams by each content area over the first 2 weeks of May. And that is our assessment bonanza.
Plus iReady.
Plus the iReady, exactly. We do our diagnostic 3 times a year, and then at the 7th through 10th grade levels, we also have Star Renaissance for our universal screener. Yep. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, team.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you have a question?
I was wondering if we could elaborate a little bit more on the professional development links, specifically to what we saw from the assessment data. So just your vision of, thinking about data analysis, but if you could just walk us through, like, professional development on data analysis will get us, what are we expecting to see within the strands? Because I know you have a lot of amazing plans, but.
So with respect to data, so our first goal is to make sure our data is inputted correctly into Linkit, which is the system we use, right? So based on the universal screeners we have, based on the NJSLA data that we have, and any other assessment data that gets all uploaded into our data warehouse. That's the first goal, to make sure we do that correctly. Because if we have wrong data, then it's wrong information they're working with. Second goal is that make sure that we then disaggregate the data based on some of the subgroups we've seen, based on classroom data. So teachers will get a classroom profile of their students that they have, and how they did last school year, the current universal screener, and what they need to do the next steps. We would also break that data down into Lexels and quantile levels as well, so they can see the growth over time based on those two standards and factors that we have. We're also working on school narratives and district narratives, so the school as a whole can see where we are as a group. That's some of the data we have. And then we're also working with teachers individually or in small groups to look at their classrooms and see what they can do to improve, and not only improve the students that need to get better in, but also continue to excel those students that are doing really well. We want to make sure that we hit all of that as well. So, okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And I also just want to give everyone kudos. I mean, there are areas that we need to work on, but there's also sustained growth. And if I'm remembering correctly, our middle grades last year had some of the highest growth in the county. And so to see some of those averages being maintained, like, that's a huge achievement that sometimes gets overlooked. And I was also noticing that our levels 1 and 2 seem reasonable, like, where the students are not meeting expectations, the majority of students not meeting expectations are in that level 3, which is something you'd want to see and has a lot of factors. So I think that's a lot of kudos. I know I would love, as we keep moving, is to keep looking at cohorts of students to better understand this data. Like, if grade levels are scoring differently from each other, I would always be curious to see how that grade level compared throughout 1st through 5th. And we talk a lot about this with our multilingual learners, like a score one time, spring, a snapshot, and it sounds like a lot of the data work will lead to this deeper analysis. But I think there are stories to be told of each grade level of how they're doing from year to year, and I'm wondering if that can be part of the conversation.
Agree. And like you mentioned before, those level 3 approaching students, right? Those are the cohort of students that we also want to focus on, right? They're almost there. What can we do? What are the questions that they did not do well in? What's the curriculum standards that they did not do well in? So we can break that down, and they're going to work on that as well. I do want to thank our team here, our Office of Instructional Services, our Office of Student Services, but in addition to all the individuals that you don't see, right? Or principals, assistant principals, directors, teachers, aides. Like, we are a great group of educators here. We're working hard, and we know there's some amazing bright spots, which you mentioned, but there are also things that we need to improve in, and we will get there. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Neil, and everybody else. I do want to say one other thing about that. One of the things that the board always thought about when it came to academic achievement was, how do we do better? And we did not know that. And we, for a long time, and I've been on the board a long time, we're told this is how we're going to do better and this is how we're going to do better. And we never really understood what we were going to do differently. And I think last year, when Robin brought in Mike Zonar and we started to learn about quantiles and Lexiles and data, and we're looking at things differently, and we're understanding different things as a board. And I appreciate the amount of work that our team has done over the past year to do things in a new way and look at things differently. And I know it is a lot of work. It's been a lot of work for the board to understand this, as we're not all educators. We have a few educators on the board, but some of us are not. Four of us are educators. The rest of us are not. And so it doesn't go unnoticed by the board, the amount that we're asking of our teams. But we're doing this because our students deserve this. our community deserves the very best. And if we don't have the best data to make better decisions, we're not going to achieve it. So it is a big ask, and we appreciate it. I know Neil is very new to our district, and I appreciate the hard work he's done. And he's been able to do the things that he's doing because of the rest of our team here. But we're not going to let up on the board because we do see a lot of opportunity to increase the achievement of our students. And I don't want to fail them as a board. I know our teachers don't want to fail them. And so we're all going to push together. We ask a lot of you. We, as a board, are going to do a lot. We're asking a lot of Robin. But I know that we can do it because I've seen some of the incredible things that we've done when we all work together. And this isn't about looking at what we've done wrong, but it's more about of how do we do it better. And I know it's hard when we see some of the data. It's upsetting and disappointing, but we're going to look at it as this is just the starting point for us. And next year when we're sitting here, I hope to be able to say, wow, what amazing gains we have made as a district. And I know that this is the team of people that can do it. So thank you again for all of the work. I do appreciate it, and I know the board does as well. Okay, board secretary report.
Given the time, I'm going to keep it brief. I'll defer to the Finance Committee Chair's report. Did he pass that to someone in particular to talk about tonight? Okay, so I'm going to do that. Just a question that keeps coming up regarding the referendum in terms of when we'll start to see things happen. In terms of when you'll start to see things happen from the outside looking at the middle school, it'll be sometime in December, January. You'll see the staging start to happen. I get that question an awful lot, and so that's something. If you have any other questions that you'd like answered, we're continuing to meet with the architects to make sure that we plan out the major part of the renovation and addition, which is the main body of the building. Those meetings are still ongoing, and I know we'll hear more about that at our community conversation and things of that nature. If you have any questions, please email me or just call. It's easier if you just call my cell, pick it up, give it a ring. I'll pick up for sure and answer the questions you have. Other than that, I'll defer to the Finance Chair's report.
Great. Thanks, Tom. No board president's report. Phew. Now we'll do our ad hoc reports. First, our student board member report.
Okay, good evening. First of all, thank you for letting me speak and share what my fellow students have felt about the first month of the school year. So I collected a lot of data from students by talking to them, but I believe it's not only important to understand stuff on a shallow and quantitative level, but kind of understand what it implies for the student body and the individuals within it. For this month, things are still getting organized around the school district and with the student body, so I focused mostly on the high school and some parts of the middle school. But as the school year progresses, I plan on talking more to the administration and some of the students at the intermediate and elementary schools and attending some of the Lawrence Middle School Student Council meetings and communicating in that sense as well. So as a whole, at Lawrence High School, students are extremely happy with the way that the school is operating and the atmosphere that has been created. Yeah, so that's a pretty good thing. So far, a favorite that I've heard a lot is they particularly admire the extracurricular opportunities that are given, and a lot of people are surprised at how welcoming these student groups are and how easy it is to access them. So there have been many events that the students feel have made them more able to feel welcomed, such as the club fair, fundraisers, how much school spirit we have during sports, and especially the spirit days. The changed grading system that has happened this year at Lawrence High School, which for reference inflated summative grades such as tests and projects and brought down the weightage of homework and classwork, has been a point of contention, which both is dependent on the class, the teacher, and the individual student. When asked about it, some students claimed that the emphasis on testing made them work harder, study harder, and focus in class more. And the same emphasis on studying harder for the test at first was brought in with the second chance learning system, which has also been changed this year. On the other hand, some students found that the new system was discouraging because they feel defined by the few test grades as opposed to having a more holistic performance grade when it comes to their overall grade. And in addition to this, some students felt that decreasing the weight of homework motivated them to do it less and kind of spend less time at home working on things and just focus more in class. Once again, it's important to understand that these are some individual things I've heard, but it is important to understand the needs of individuals because it impacts the whole student body. And as the first marking period ends next month, I plan on understanding how it works overall and how students feel about this as the school year progresses. The new school AI system, which was mentioned before, has been identified by some classes as a helpful tool for studying and helping students accomplish tasks in the classroom, which happens more efficiently and in a more thorough manner. However, I have noticed, and based on reports, it's not widely used by students yet, and some students have claimed not to have utilized it at all yet, which means that we have to integrate it more into the system. And in terms of the cell phone system, which has been more enforced this year, it's actually more well received based off the reports I've received, and students find it much easier to focus, they understand the content better, and they have gained better interpersonal skills so far this month. Freshmen at Lawrence High School have expressed that the transition to high school has been easy but a little unexpected. They wish for not only more counseling in the process, but just understanding how things change between the middle school and the high school. And they find that freshman orientation, understanding the clubs, and talking and getting to know upperclassmen have been the best parts of getting acclimated to the new system. This concludes my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Yes. Hey,
Our first board report.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. LTEF?
Okay, I did attend LTEF meeting October 3rd at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I reported out for both Neil and myself. We both thanked LTEF for attending our Welcome to the Neighborhood Family Workshop in early September. We discussed New Jersey School Board's county meeting, which was our own Sarah Foster. Thank you again for doing a presentation on AI. Both panelists left us with some answers and a bunch of questions, which was exciting. And right now, Union County meeting is going on behind me. I'm kind of putting an ear over there, too. It's the students' view of AI and the use. And I can't wait to listen to it tonight. So thank you again, Sarah. Deadline for LTEF grants was discussed, and it's, I believe, tomorrow. It's done already. I'm looking at Neil. And the grant review day is quickly approaching. We're looking forward to the presentation of the grants here at our next Board of Ed meeting, so please make sure on November 12th you're here to see the submissions and the big unveiling. Also, if you haven't noticed, there's a 50-50 drawing, and that's going to happen this Friday, and I'm going to win it, so just keep putting your money in. Please think about jumping into that. It's a fun event. No ethics violations, especially if I pull. I'm just kidding. If you haven't already, mark your calendar for November 14th, handbag bingo. A good time will be had by all, and a lot of us get involved, so it's a fun night. I also attended project graduation, but I'm going to ask if Olga wouldn't mind giving a brief description of what that was about.
Joanne Grover and myself attended project graduation Monday, October 6th. It was the first meeting of the month. It was over 20 attendees. It was an introduction of the new chairs. They also introduced a new website. They did an orientation for the parents who were in attendance and walked through everything that project graduation entails. They're looking for volunteers, sponsors, and donations. And the committee is finalizing events and fundraisers, and will be sharing some of them on the next month's meeting. Thank you.
Great. Move on for New Jersey School Boards? Okay. On September 13th, I attended the county meeting leadership at West Windsor Plainsboro at the administrative building. We talked about an overview for the whole year's programs for all the counties. Mark your calendars, November 20th for our county meeting, which will be at Trenton Board of Education Administrative Building. You can attend online or in person. The topic will be finance, pressure points, healthcare, state aid. It'll be a roundtable addressing key financial challenges. Again, it's at Trenton Admin Building, so we want to look at rising healthcare costs, shifts in state aid, and strategies how to manage the pressures and maintain our budget stability. On September 27th, I attended legislative committee meeting. Didn't have to go into Trenton, it was Zoom. Assemblyman Christopher DePhillips and Assemblyman Al Barlas from District 40. Both legislators stayed online and chatted with us for over an hour, presenting their legislative policies, responding to questions from committee members. A few of the conversations were their positions on public education, focusing on improvements that legislation can make for both school funding and the budgeting process. Highlighted issues on the timings and transparency of the state budget process, opportunities to reprioritize state funding so that schools have tools to serve states and the students. They discussed pros and cons of relaxing 2% tax levy and the rising costs of special education and health care for districts. We also talked a little bit about pilot programs and looking for school districts needing to have a little bit of the share of what's going to our communities. Last topic we discussed was the importance of civility in today's political environment and why being respectful and having respectful dialogue is essential for democracy and running a good public meeting. Laws that recently have been enacted, I'm just going to go through those, Pepper, including expanding childhood education, public notice reform, IEP meeting guidelines, labor movement instructions, and noteworthy bills moving forward, SFRA reform, pension re-enrollment changes, instructional mandates, and upcoming issues, which we talked about today, cell phone use in schools, and the effects of social media usage on adolescents. And you all are going to Atlantic City for our workshop, so please make sure you jump in on some of the legislative and state panel discussions. That'll be there. That's my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe.
You bet.
Reconfiguration ad hoc.
We met a few times, but most recently in attendance were Dr. Robert Klim, Jen Baldessari, Pepper Evans, Joanne Groger, Tom Eldridge, Olga Martinez, and myself, Diana Pasculi. And we heard the updates that Tom mentioned, and so I won't repeat those. And we also were really focused on the meeting next week on October 15th and making sure that we're opening as many lines of communication as possible, which a shout out to the district. And so we really are just hoping that community members attend, and for the folks listening online that will be attending next week. We know it's a very busy time, but it's the first event of a few throughout this year. We'll be having community meetings. It's from 7 to 8, and it will be at LMS. At the middle school, and so we're really excited to hear from folks, engage. If you come, there will be childcare and cookies, and we're hoping that we have some conversation with folks that are in the decision process, and the feel is get information, get facts and data about what's happening within this massive, exciting project, and also to keep building the open lines of communication and feedback loops, because as we go through this process, there are lots of changes that will affect our students and educators and community at different times over this long project. So come on the 15th and tell your friends, and that's all we have.
Great, thank you so much. Review of communications? Nope. It's our first opportunity for public input.
Prior.
Oh,
Still got
oh yeah, I forgot student services. I'm sorry, I skipped right over it.
okay.
Student services, I apologize.
It's okay. Student Services had met on October 1st. In attendance, we have Vanessa Picarsiak, Dr. Allison Fisher, and myself, Arndell Clark. 2 items to highlight. One we heard earlier about testing, that the PSATs will be held on October 23rd for sophomores and juniors. During this time, seniors are encouraged to use this time to schedule college visits and/or other potential post-high school opportunities that would become available. CPAC, our first Special Education Parents Advancement Council meeting was recently held on September 30th. For those who don't know, CPAC is a group that provides informational services and discussion for families of physical and developmental needs. In our first meeting, a spokesperson from Capital County Children's Collaborative provided a look into the services that they provide and how they can help families. We thank all of those who attended, and we maintain an open invitation to encourage other families to attend. Child care is provided during these meetings. The next meeting will be held on October 28th, and we'll have a guest speaker, Michelle Tonge, leading a session on behavioral management. That's my report.
Thank you so much, Arundel. Okay, now we'll do our first opportunity for public input. Seeing none. We have no board discussion or work session items. We'll go to a board discussion and action items, the Personnel Committee report and personnel action items.
Okay. We met October 1st, 8:15 a.m. In attendance were Dr. Robin Klim, Sean Fry, Kevin Van Heist, Arundel Clark, Olga Martinez, and myself. We had a recommendation for a new secretary for student services. We reviewed staff leaves. We are interviewing for several leave positions, as well as a secretary to assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, which you'll see is on the agenda. We discussed ECV programming staffing, and Neil and his team are collaborating with LTEA on a highly effective evaluation model pilot for some of our tenured staff cohorts to explore new professional growth opportunities. This month, we're holding information sessions for assistants, seeking substitutes, and teacher certifications. No suggested changes were made for new job description. And on tonight's agenda, you'll find several approvals for EDPs, staff member leave replacement, revised job description for secretary to the assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, leave absence, sub-teachers, staff due to new staff members due to background clearances, volunteers, attending for staff training, destination coach at ECV, a resignation, student technicians, student lifeguards, winter EDPs, payment for unused sick days, a sub-nurse, and you'll see a few corrections and revisions on the agenda too. With all the above, I'd now like to move P1 through P31, please.
Second.
Tom with a motion and a second from Pepper.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Groger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. CIAPD report and OIS student service.
CIAPD meeting was held on September 30th at 8 a.m. in the district's technology center. As this is the second time for us to meet in September, that meeting on September 30th serves as our October meeting. In attendance were Michelle Bose, Michelle King, Kenzie Kelly, Robin Klim, Vanessa Bukarczyk, Allison Fisher, Mary Pankos, Damian Barriexis, Sarah Foster, Nicole Einhorn, Maureen Hayes, Jean Musi, and Neil Desai, and myself. That's why we moved from the technology center, because there's so many people. We had a lot of items on the agenda. The committee began with the annual school district assessment presentation, which you just saw, and it was led by both the Office of Instructional Services and the Office of Student Services. Additionally, the committee was provided with information about the Orton-Gillingham family of instructional programs in Lawrence Township. Ms. Hayes provided us with a wealth of information about the program and its application in Lawrence Township by our educators. In addition, NJSLA adaptive and NJGPA adaptive fall field tests and times were shared with the committee. Joanne mentioned that, so I won't say that one again. Next, the committee heard from Mr. Desai, who shared information about the commissioner approved observation model, and we already talked about that. So, let's see. Mr. Desai also shared a staff survey and information from the district-wide opening day and staff professional development day. And while the information from the survey could have been submitted anonymously, the vast majority of responses were not anonymous and were overwhelmingly positive. We reviewed one policy, and with that, I would like to move OIS 1 through 9 and OSS 1 through 3.
Second?
Tom, with a motion and a second from Joanne. Thank you.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Groger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, now we do.
I did.
You did them all, okay. Pepper, you're up again. Finance Committee report.
I'm filling in for Kevin tonight. He sent over extensive Finance Committee reports, which is a little foreign to me, but I think you all got them in your email, so I'll just stream right through them. Tom continues to encourage outreach. If any member of the board has any questions or concerns or are aware of any issues that need to be addressed, to reach out to him. The committee reviewed the process for commencing the architectural services for the middle school referendum project. The next steps are to issue notice to proceed for the auditorium. And Tom said we'll know when that happens, when there are cars in the loop by LMS, right? That's how we know when it's
Some couple
starts?
weeks thereafter.
Okay, all right. Auditorium construction is expected to start at the beginning of the year. Initial work will include removal of seats and the ceiling. Work will be substantial and invasive. Structural changes will be made for construction of a new ramp. Project will be exciting to watch as progress is made. To Kevin's notes, not mine.
Sorry, my face is saying it all. Invasive.
We got the budget, the balance sheet, the check register, and all the things we need to stay accountable. The committee reviewed the process for the annual budget cycle. Kevin attached a PowerPoint, so if you have insomnia. And we had a cost effectiveness review. And with that, I would like to move SBM 1 through 9.
Somebody else. Second. Thank you.
With a second from Olga.
I got it.
Thank you.
Sure. You ready?
Yep.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Groger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. So next opportunity for public input. Seeing none. New business. Olga.
We have a leave replacement for LIS, mentor appointments, clearances, and substitutes. And with that, I would like to move NB1 to NB6.
Second.
With a motion and a second from Joanne. Tom?
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Groger?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Ms. Pasculi?
Yes.
And Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming, and have a wonderful night.